Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth. I tried to make a video just a minute ago, but I haven't worked out the tone of my voice for this song yet. I wrote another one yesterday, but we will be continuing on with video number 3, or not 3. Sorry, video number 13. I'm sorry, we woke up too early this morning. Not as early as yesterday, but I'm still tired. The return of Yahusha, the beginning is near. Roscoe! We are on the shadows of things to come for the body of Mashiach. Let me see. We all want to be as accurate as we can be, while not condemning others who have slightly different understandings. The deeper we look into traditions, not scripture, the deeper we sink into the inky shadows of confusion. The confusion over the new moon is not nearly so uncomfortable as the confusion over when the day begins, and that pales in the face of those who restart their weekly count each month. The adversary is dividing us up into so many camps of belief today, it boggles the mind. But we must remember to overcome all with love. Those who become confused and annoyed with these things need to always remember that these events are shadows, not the reality we will see one day. A shadow has a hazy edge to it and is not substance in itself. I'd like to promote a calendar that really derives its calculation from scripture alone, leaving the traditions behind. What they used to do in the ancient world could have been wrong too. Yahusha ate the Passover with his Talmudim, but the Yahudim who went to Pilate's chambers claimed they didn't wish to enter to prevent the defiling of themselves so they could eat the Passover. It seems they were one day apart in their calculations then too.
I have a bill to pay.
We all stumble in many matters. James 3:2. If you are a Catholic priest, please read this or listen to this.
What?
Okay, so you have probably always thought of yourself as a good Catholic.
Ross!
Honoring your parents, your pastor and bishop, and above all other men on earth, the Holy Father, the Pope. Your entire life has been dedicated to servitude and obeying. Let me see. Your training and personal talents seem to make you better each year you serve, and you feel your skills are helping make the world a better place. You know that no man on earth can usurp the title Holy Father, unless they seek the same agenda the adversary does, to be like the Most High. You have been taught that the organizations you serve within an unbroken line back to the apostles of the first century. Rather, it is the same Roman organized corporate structure that was in place since the time of Constantine and the council at Nicaea.
So just like $1 juice and cola, since that's $40.
Yes. Left the formerly pagan...
Yeah, you're at,
and the council at Nicaea left the formerly pagan corporate organism fully functional. They didn't break it down, they didn't change it to what it was supposed to be, they left it the same. The same evil paganism stuff. This pagan institution's function was a satanic one. Its purpose was to worship the sun of the sky.
How bad you could tell, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but you can tell how bad circuses are. I don't mean to call them that, but they are, I guess. But they are literally closing down and selling them up here.
Yeah.
They're closed. Yeah,
we're
the
a
one
small
next door
town,
is for
but
sale.
they're selling the churches at some of the circuses in town now, and it's better to call it a circus, babe, because they actually named the building is it's a deity's name, and we're not supposed to speak the name of deities. I know. Well, the CHURCH word is the name of a pagan deity.
How can you sell a building with a house when the house should just be rented out or sold by itself? Why did
Yeah.
it be sold with so you can have nuns in there?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The circus prostitutes.
Yeah, great.
This
Roscoe, you've been out.
This pagan institution's function
I
was a
have stuff
satanic
to do.
one. Its purpose was to worship the sun and the sky, embracing the elements of the Messianic faith. It continued with the same customs and format of its previous sun worship, along with the same personnel carrying on these procedures. This can be likened to a company in the business of marketing their products, with an eye toward maintaining its market share. The company remained as a functioning organism and simply added the new product, directing worship towards the J-Man, or JC. Records from the period show that Constantine and his company combined or absorbed the Messianic faith into the pagan format in place, and that the new J-Man was thought of as the sun deity in their understanding of him. Constantine continued to mint coins for years after Nicaea, which honored Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun in the sky. This is truly a case of another Yahusha being proclaimed, and done so according to a formerly pagan format. As Emperor Constantine inherited all the Mithraic titles of his position. The Kaiser's title was Pontifex Maximus, highest priest of Janus, and he was assisted by his council of pagan priests, cardinals, which made up the Curia. The faith was in fact absorbed into the pagan organism, so the faith became paganized. The faith did not eliminate the paganism, but the faith became paganized. All the behavior and symbols of the former paganism were retained and revised. Revisionism, leaving out the behavior and symbols of the true, pure, original faith of Abraham, especially the sect of the Nazarene. They never even moved their corporate headquarters. It's still at Rome. Revelation 17:9. The early church fathers, or circus fathers, wrote many words against both the Yahudim and the sect of the Nazarene, because they were rabidly Judeo-phobic and anti-Semitic. For almost 1,000 years following Nicaea, this organism called Catholicism, or Universalism, hunted down and killed Nazarene, calling them heretics, because they would not submit to the authority of the state religion by ceasing to observe Jewish behavior. These Nazarene kept the faith and observed the Torah because it was written on their hearts. By their existence, they exposed the errors of the pagan traditions, which would eventually become a threat to the authority of the Catholic institution. Catholicism intentionally kept literacy to a minimum, and those who could read and write were termed clergy, a word meaning literate one. The Greek klerikos and the Latin clericus both mean literate. And so we see this carried over in other words such as cleric, clerical, and clerk. Constantine brought in the change of the Shabbat to the pagan Sunday in 321 CE and established the universal observance of Easter, one of several formerly pagan festivals they revisited or revised. Yeah, he renounced all rituals like circumcision, unleavened bread, Sabbaths, and high Sabbaths, the real ones, clean or unclean food distinction, and Torah scrolls of the Ayudim or Yahudim or Jews. The Nicolaitan behavior of conquering the people, which Rabbi Yahusha hates, became even more empowered than ever. The organization you are part of promotes to the world that the only means a person can obtain favor or grace with Yahuwah is through the dispensing activities of your priesthood and the 7 sacraments.
Those are mad for a long time. At least I didn't get
Yeah.
I'm trying to get everything organized here. So, I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize. Post office, the bill, and
the shop. Uh-huh.
Is there if I use that card?
Yes.
TP?
Yep.
I don't know.
You know in your heart that you cannot change bread or wine into the living body of Yahusha, and you probably have suspected why this concept is promoted to the simple sheep led to believe it about 1 billion people alive today. Not only is your own salvation at risk, but the greater loss is the damage to those you directly contact. Yahusha told us that stumbling blocks would come, but woe to those through whom they come. Test everything and ask questions. Do personal study and be delivered from the mystery religion you are embedded in. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and authorities, against the world rulers of darkness of this age and spiritual matters of wickedness in the spiritual realm. Rome is the fourth beast, and the office of this system will be here until the time of the end. He will be successful until the time of wrath is completed. For what has been determined must take place. Daniel 11:36. I was sent to warn you, and we know that Yahuwah warns us by sending watchmen out to give warnings. Believe that this is your warning, and I am the messenger sent to you, giving you notice beforehand. Judgment by sword, famine, pestilence, earthquake, and fire is coming upon the entire world. The end of days is upon us. And those unsealed, having not the name of Yahuwah in their foreheads, Revelation 14:1, and not keeping the Torah of Elohim, Revelation 12:17 and 14:12, will be carried away in judgment. But if the watchman sees the sword coming and shall not blow the ram's horn, the shofar, and the people shall not be warned, and the sword comes and takes any being from among them, he is taken away in his crookedness, and his blood I require at the watchman's hand. Ezekiel 33:6. This applies directly to you and me. I am blowing the shofar by sending this information into the world. And you must pick up the message of warning and multiply it greatly. You have much to learn and much to account for. But he who has sinned much is loved much when he repents and turns away from his error. May Yahusha's Spirit enable you to love him by obeying his commandments, not the commands of men and the deceiver. By the active power and endowed by Yahusha's Spirit in the world today, we Nazarene are still here. And this is one of the many ways the final warning is going out to all the earth. Babel the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, and a haunt of every unclean and hated bird, because all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her whoring, and the sovereigns of the earth have committed whoring with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the power of her riotous living. And I heard another voice from the heavens saying, Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. Revelation 18:2-4. The term whoring, cited above, refers to idolatry, mixing together pagan worship with the worship of Yahuwah. The birds which are referred to above could literally be the priests of the hinge, the cardinals, carried over from the Babylonian sun worship patterns operating in Rome from ancient times up until the time of wrath. These could also be thought of in the same way as the birds which stole away the seed. Okay, the action of the evil one. No, I don't. In the parable of the sower, Matthew 13. Yeah. In either case, this pagan curia snatched away the Torah, the proper teachings of our Creator, and replaced them with their own operating system. Everyone knows that this institution based at Rome, Italy, appears holy, but it is the fourth and final beast at Daniel 7:23-28. The coming morning light of the return of Yahusha is now appearing, and night is almost over, and his bride must wake up. He spoke of his bride as being like 5 wise maidens, and 5 foolish maidens. The meaning of the oil and the lamps will be examined next. Keep in mind that these symbols are often misinterpreted by those who do not want to obey Yahuwah, the same people who would much rather observe patterns they have been taught by men's traditions. As you study these things, notice the Torah instructions or doctrines are represented as being inside another symbol, a lamp or a wineskin. In one case, the oil is inside a lamp. In another case, the new wine is inside a wineskin. The lamp and the wineskin represent the follower. The oil and the new wine both represent the teachings which a person allows to enter into them and guide their way of living. Just get it. If they decide to live by what they inherit from man-made traditions, they will be easily distinguished from those who live by the 10 Commandments, Torah, the covenant. In the final analysis, our real failure will be not discerning the will of Yahuwah and not overcoming the world system that traps everyone in its web of lies from birth. If the Torah is not inside our vessel, lamp, or wineskin, we will be shocked to learn we have been deceived when the day of Yahuwah arrives and we are shut out of the wedding supper. Okay. The lamp. The lamp of the body is the eye. Fleshly viewpoint or mind of the flesh. This implies there is another kind of lamp, an inner lamp. Because we are made up of 2 parts, body and spirit. Matthew 10:28 and Jasher 2:26. Our inner lamp or spirit can store up beliefs that are passing away because they are merely man-made traditions. Long ago, Yahuwah's bride, Yasharal, went after strange Elohim, strange deities, by adding false worship and customs to their ways. They put the wrong oil into their lamps, oil that does not last because it is of human origin. We must fill our inner lamp with oil that endures forever. And Yahuwah's word is that oil, Torah. It is the mind of the spirit of Yahuwah. Strange fire offered to Yahuwah. Leviticus 10:1. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his fire holder and put fire in it and put incense on it, and brought strange fire before Yahuwah, which he had not commanded them.
How are they doing that?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I just don't get it because I have to
Excuse
work.
me.
I apologize, everyone.
We cannot invent our own methods of serving Yahuwah, but diligently follow and live by every word that proceeds from his mouth. Otherwise, a lake of fire will one day consume his adversaries, those who choose to neglect his Torah and serve him their own way. Yahusha is doing everything short of forcing people to avoid this outcome. He is the only doorway of escape. The denominations exist because the living words, eternal lamp oil, have been rejected or watered down by so many teachers. The body is divided, and the enemy has used this old tactic to keep us ineffective. The Jews, Yahudim, or House of Yehuda, have been a very popular target. But this is because we, the Nazarene, haven't been doing our job in a united way. This has been our failure in the past, but we know that in the end, this vexing will cease when the 2 divided houses are regathered into one. Singularity. Isaiah 11:12 and 13. And he shall raise a banner for the nations, and gather the outcasts of Yasharal, and assemble the dispersed of Yehuda from the 4 corners of the earth. And the envy of Ephraim shall turn aside, and the adversaries of Yehuda be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehuda, and Yehuda not trouble Ephraim. Traditions and the 10 maidens. The oil we see stored in many lamps amounts to traditions that will not continue to illuminate the spiritual lamps of those unwise maidens in the world to come. We have to develop discernment and filter out the human elements and keep the words that will keep our lamps lit. Yahusha's Torah, the instruction, the message. Matthew 24:35. The heaven and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away. Not a jot nor tittle. Realizing that so many people have been taught instructions that are not of Yahuwah, it is not surprising that the lamps containing no lasting oil will be going out when they are called forth to meet the bridegroom on the day of Yahuwah. Their oil, the mind of the flesh. Torah, the only thing you'll take with you.
Noon. I should have this all done by an hour.
Okay. What is in our inner lamp can be discerned by what fruit we bear. Yeah. Yeah. Most especially by observing how we are loving our brother or lost Yahushalite sibling. From 1 John or Yehukanan, we discern that our remaining helpful and patient.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love everyone. Have a good day. Blessed day. Love you, baby.
Love you, babe. Okay, so from 1 Yehukanan, we discern that our remaining helpful and patient, that we are remaining helpful and patient towards our lost Yahushulites as they struggle and wrestle over the truth or Torah, reflects how the light abides in us. When we hate and tear down our siblings, we abide in darkness. Without love, we have nothing. We can't have works without love. We can't bear fruit without love. When we hate and tear down okay, I read that part, sorry. Many people in Christendom are lost Yahushulites, living on another oil than Yahuwah's Torah. Sunday, Christmas, Easter, trees, wreaths, eggs, steeples, etc. These are unwise maidens with their diverse ways of living, lamps filled with the oil of men's traditions. Wormwood. Such oil will not work. It will not illuminate in the coming world, because only the oil or the word that will never pass away will light our lamps in that day, the day of Yahuwah. The Torah is a light alive in us. We are the living, breathing Torah. The commandments are also a lamp. Proverbs 6:23 and 24. For the command is a lamp, and the Torah a light, and reproofs of discipline a way of life, to guard you against an evil woman from the flattering tongue of a strange woman. See Psalm 119, 105, and Isaiah 8:20. Matthew 25:1. Then the reign of the heavens shall be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. Diverse ways of living. Lamps and their contents, which is oil. Roscoe! Are apparently not all alike. The human creation is made up of two components, body and nefesh, which is spirit. The lamp of the body is the eye. But the object of Yahusha's teachings are focused on the real inner lamp of each person. What we put into our inner lamp will either remain and light our way eternally, or flicker out because we poured darkness into ourselves instead. A person who does not love their brother, fellow lost Yahushalite, lives in darkness. Each of us must struggle to discern whether we are filled with darkness or have allowed the true light to dispel the darkness, hatred of our fellow lost Yahushulites. We all must help people become free from what is keeping them from developing love for Yahuwah and love for their neighbor. The fruit is how we discern what kind of tree we are viewing, but it's best to refrain from all judgment of one another, even if we think we have identified bad fruit. Love is patient, kind, enduring, and forgiving, not keeping score. Often those who wound us are closest to us, and in the end there is a stronger bond. Just like the darkness, like the adversary sometimes will use our loved ones against us. That's why, praise Yahuwah, my husband immersed himself on Shabbat. He does this when my husband leaves. 1 John or Yehukanan 2:10. The one who loves his brother, Yahusha sibling, stays in the light, and there is no stumbling block in him. Sorry. 1 John 3:14. Okay. We know that we have passed out of death into life because we love the brothers. The one not loving his brother stays in death. To Roscoe. Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. They're so cute. Roscoe, okay, that's enough. That's enough. Okay. Okay. 1 John 4:20. If someone says, I love Elohim, and hates his brother, he is a liar. For the one not loving his brother whom he has seen, how is he able to love Elohim who he has not seen? 1 John 4:21. Sorry. And we have this command from him that the one loving Elohim should love his brother too. In the last days we know this. Matthew 24:10. And then many shall stumble, and they shall deliver up one another, and shall hate one another. Bella Bean, you're fine. You are fine. Okay? You usually only do this when mommy leaves. What's up? I know. Matthew 18:14 through 17. Thus it is not the desire of your Father who is in the heavens that one of these little ones should be lost. And if your brother sins against you, go and reprove him. Between you and him alone, if he hears you, you have gained your brother. But if he does not hear, take with you 1 or 2 more. Then by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word might be established. And if he refuses to hear them, say it to the assembly. And if he refuses even to hear the assembly, let him be to you like a Gentile and a tax collector. That's pretty much what I had to do with my sister, because my sister turned to darkness, she told me, after our grandma passed. And I found Yahusha after grandma passed. So, and he, part of the song that I wrote kind of is about my testimony. I was so tired I couldn't share it Saturday, but I put some of it in the song. Because when I should have been grieving, Yahusha took my pain away. Like, it was astounding. Like, the person I was before I found Yahusha, I would have been in shambles every day. Probably would have even tried to commit suicide because my grandma passed away. And none of that happened because I found Yahusha. Yahusha saved me. It was the most beautiful thing because he took away my sadness. I only cried probably 4 times after my grandma passed because I found Yahusha and I found out what real love is. Hallelujah. Psalm 119:160. The sum of your word is truth, and all your right rulings are forever. Yahuwah's Torah is eternal. Notice that word is synonymous with Torah. Psalm 119:162. I rejoice at your word as one who finds great treasure. John or Yehukanan 17:17. Set them apart in your truth. Your word is truth. Psalm 1:1 through 3. Blessed is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wrong, and shall not stand in the path of sinners, and shall not sit in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuwah, and he meditates in his Torah day and night. For he shall be as a tree planted by the rivers of water, that yields its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither. And whatever he does prospers. Yahusha called the everlasting oil, my words. Yahusha said, my words shall by no means pass away. His light will last, but men's traditions will flicker out. The true oil will have lasting value, but all other oil is worthless and will not stay with us. His name is as sweet perfume, oil poured forth to us. But to those who do not love his name, we are a stench in their nostrils. See 2 Corinthians 2:16. It says Son 1:3. They might have meant to put John 1:3. I'm not sure. For fragrance, your oils are good. Your name is oil poured forth. Therefore, the maidens love you. Ecclesiastes 7:1. A good name is better than precious oil, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. Notice that the oil in both of these verses suggests perfume, essential oil. The maidens, or virgins, remind us of the 10 maidens and their lamps. Matthew 24:35. The heaven and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away. As you may have suspected, Yahusha is the same being that met with Moshe on Sinai. He wanted us to remember this during the Great Distress, since that is the context of this verse. The distress is the coming tribulation. Metaphors, figures of speech used to conceal the truth from those who are rebellious. Lamp equals our heart, our spiritual component upon which Yahusha writes a love for his covenant. Oil equals teachings, eternal words. This is what Yahusha called my words, quoted above. The lamps that won't illuminate don't contain the eternal oil, only the words of men's traditions, not Yahusha's eternal words. Here are other metaphors. Wineskin equals our heart, same as our lamp. See Matthew 9:12-17. New wineskin equals Torah. Teachings, eternal words, what Yahusha called my words. Old wine equals men's teachings. Matthew 5:16-19. Let your light so shine before men, so that they see your good works and praise your Father who is in the heavens. Do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to complete. For truly I say to you, till the heaven and the earth pass away, one jot or yod, or one tittle, uah, shall by no means pass from the Torah till all be done. Whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches men to do so, shall be called least in the reign of the heavens. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the heavens. Smallest Hebrew letters, the 7 annual Shabbats shadow Yasharal's redemption, and Yahusha has yet to fulfill those of the 7th month. Romans 6:16. Do you not know that to whom you present yourselves servants for obedience, you are servants of the one whom you obey, whether of sin to death or of obedience to righteousness? Deuteronomy 5:29. Oh, that they had such heart in them to fear me and to guard all my commands always, so that it might be well with them and with their children forever. The Torah covenant is a sign or mark upon the seed of Yasharal forever. Deuteronomy 28:46. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and on your seed forever. Gentiles must engraft into the covenant and join Yasharal. There is to be one flock and one shepherd. Yasharalites aren't to become Christian Torah breakers. Yahuwah has consistently said on many occasions the following. Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu 9:13-14. And Yahuwah says, because they have forsaken my Torah, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, nor walked according to it. See 7:23. But they have walked according to the stubbornness of their own heart, and after Baalim, which their fathers have had taught them. He scattered the tribes of Yasharal, then over many generations increased their numbers among the Gentiles, and will ultimately regather them to have a wedding supper. For those wise maidens who awaken with sufficient oil in their lamps, Yasharal is his bride. Gentiles must engraft into the covenant, since many are natural branches broken off long ago. Others, who are not natural branches, may also partake of the root and engraft through the covenant. Stumbling blocks, strongholds of thought, and false expectations are more the norm among people of faith. Understanding is hampered because wisdom and knowledge are kept from people. The whole of Ezekiel is about the scattering and ultimate regathering of Yasharal. It's not about Christianity. You don't even find the word Christianity in Scripture. It's like, wake up, everybody. The letter to the Galatians is all about circumcision, a ceremonial law that was settled for adult male Gentiles by the Council of Elders. See Acts 15. For most of the past 1900 years, a conscious diversion has been implemented away from obeying the Ten Commandments, called in Hebrew Asareth ha-Dabarim, or Debarim, the 10 words. Without this light, we will lose the way. Our walk will be in darkness, and we will be found outside because our Creator will have never known us. The 10 words have been molested, rewritten, and barely understood. As Stephen was explaining to the leaders of Yasharal how the nation had rebelled and not kept the covenant, he said something most interesting at Acts 7:37 through 40. This is the Moshe who said to the children of Yasharal, Yahuwah your Elohim shall raise up for you a prophet like me from your brothers. Him you shall hear. This is he who was in the assembly in the wilderness, with the messenger who spoke to him on Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the living words to give to us, unto whom our fathers would not become obedient, but thrust away in their hearts. They turned back to Mitzrayim, saying to HIRAM, make us mighty ones to go before us. For this Moshe, who led us out of the land of Mitzrayim, we do not know what has become of him. Yahusha is the one that guides us into his covenant, because he is the mediator of it. Above, Stephen was inspired by the Ruach HaKodesh to refer to the covenant as the living words, which brings to mind Hebrews 4:12. When we observe the 10 words as written, some people will hiss at us, and certain religious leaders become furious over the very thought of obeying them. The 10 Commandments is the core of the Torah, our instruction from Yahuwah to live by, teaching us how to love. Our reputation or good name is better than sweet perfume. Ecclesiastes 7:1 calls it precious oil. The wise maidens are more prepared, having been drawn by the fragrance of the name of their husband, Yahuwah. Yahuwah is more literal than Yahweh, since the letters V and W are both derived from the letter Gu. Please investigate this name. The Torah is the only thing you will take with you from this life. Treasure it in your heart, your lamp. Read Psalm 1, then Psalm 80. The renewed covenant is clearly explained at Jeremiah 31:1 through 40. Hebrews 8 through 13. And Hebrews 10:15 through 17. Be a light to the nations. Share Yahuwah's mind with them. Yahusha spent his time among those who needed deliverance, and they didn't feel shunned by him. He offered his sincere friendship. He ate and drank with them and was available to help and guide them by the same light he wanted to shine in us. He reached out to them, and they could feel the genuine love that burned in him for them. The light is love, shown by obedience. We must strive to walk as he walked, and allow his love for them to be felt through us. After all, the lesson to be learned is love. Many have the impression it is our duty to judge everything and everyone, but it is our failure to love the lost that is our greatest stumbling block to overcome. In this book, we have seen the name of the Creator illustrated with 4 letters. Without some reference to what these symbols are, they remain meaningless to those unfamiliar with them. If you have an encyclopedia, you may find characters which look like this under the topic alphabet. Below charts the letters as they compare to the Latin form when we use, or the Latin form we use with names. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to split this lesson up into 2 or 3 different sections because we're on page 96 and then it ends at page 104, and I usually don't go over a half hour or 40 minutes, but I'll go over the chart with you guys, and then we will continue with this lesson in my next video, which I will probably do tomorrow. Latin letter is on this side, on the left of the page. Then the value, name of letter in Hebrew, or it's in English letters, and then the ancient, it shows you the Hebrew letters, and then the ancient Aramaic Hebrew letters on the top chart. It feels like there's a page missing. And no, that's it. No, that's glue. Sorry. And then transliterations. I've showed this chart before, but for anyone who hasn't seen it, Yahuwah was found 6,823 times. That cannot be a mistake or a coincidence. That is our Creator's name. Yahusha was found 216 times. Now that can't be a mistake either, because that was the spelling of the Savior's name. It was found the most times compared to the other times that other spellings were found, or pronunciations, sorry. And Yahushua was found twice. That's the way I used to pronounce it before Mattiyahu corrected me on End Time Watchman's channel. Yeshua was only found once. At Hebrews 4 and Acts 7, the same Greek lettering is used for Joshua and the J-man, I-H-Sus, S-O-U-S. This is confirmation both were called Yahusha in Hebrew. I will continue this lesson next time. I don't have titles for the rest of this lesson because it all just kind of flows together with scriptures. Actually, it goes to page 100, so I can finish this lesson up. Okay, I will finish this lesson. Okay, the 4 letters, Yod, He, Uahe, are vowels. Yusef ben Mattiyahu, a.k.a. Flavius Josephus, claimed to have seen the headpiece worn by the Kohen Haggadol, and said the name was written in 4 Hebrew vowels. If one can say Yehuda, Yod, He, Ua, Dalet, He, simply remove the D sound and go with it. The prime minister, it says Netanyahu, I think it's Netanyahu, Netanyahu, shares the 3 letters Yod, He, Ua. Note there's no letter W in Hebrew. As does the prophet called Isaiah, Yashayahu. The letters Yahu are the first 3 letters in Yahusha, as well Yod, He, Ua, Shin, Ayin, Yahusha in Hebrew. The Masoretes, Masorah means tradition, worked for 500 years, 600s through the 1100s, to bend or fix the pronunciation of the language, inventing nikud vowels, to misdirect the utterance of words, primarily to distort the correct utterance of the name Yahuwah. Clement of Alexandria, a headmaster of the catechetical school at Alexandria, the Didascalia, transliterated the name Yahuwah in the Greek letters as I-A-O-U-E, at all vowels also. The shape we now see as V was the Latin sound we hear as U, and they inherited the sound and V shape from the Greek upsilon, which looked like this, like a Y. The shape Y in ancient Hebrew is the sixth letter of the Hebrew letters, not W-A-W, Wah, but U-A-U. The Greeks inherited their upsilon form Hebrew. When the letter upsilon, Y, went into Latin, the lower stem was dropped, and it was simply shaped V, and used in Latin words like gladives. Glad, I-V-S is how it's spelled. The V sounding like our letter U. We commonly see the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, described as Wah or W-A-W. I've seen it as Vav as well. However, it is more technically a U-A-U. I pronounce that Ua, since our modern letter W is derived from the letter U. The letters U, V, and W are related to one another, because the letters V and W developed fairly recently, both from the letter U, and our letter U is derived directly from the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The modern Hebrew characters right above are also referred to as Aramaic, which Yasharal adopted from their 70-year captivity in Babylon. This doesn't make them pagan, since they have the same letter names and sounds, but simply different letter shapes. They are originally the letter shapes of the Aramaeans, the descendants of Aram, Genesis 10:22. The ancient Paleo-Hebrew is very much like the Phoenician script, because it is a much older script, and the Phoenicians were not carried off to Babylon to embrace the change. Some stumble thinking that Phoenicians' letter shapes are the source of the ancient Hebrew, but in fact, the Phoenicians' alphabet comes from the Hebrew original. What a plot twist there, because it flipped it, like they thought that Phoenician came from, or that Phoenician letters were the source of ancient Hebrew, but actually it was backwards. Their thinking was backwards. The Hebrews' contact with foreigners in Babylon brought about the change in the letter shapes. The ancient Hebrew form was used by Yahuwah in the stone tablets at Sinai. Moshe, or Moses, would not have been able to read modern Hebrew, no more than the Babylonians could read ancient Hebrew. It took Daniel to decipher the handwriting on the wall. See Daniel 5:5 through 28. Since Paleo-Hebrew letters were not understood by the Babylonians, the existent book of Daniel is written partly in Paleo-Hebrew and partly in Aramaic or modern. The modern form was in use between 6 BCE and 6 CE, so there is nothing older than about 6 BCE written in the modern Hebrew characters. David or Dawood, Solomon or Shlomo, Moses or Moshe or Musha, and several prophets would not be able to read modern Hebrew since it did not exist during their lifetimes. Our modern English letter W is commonly forced upon the ancient Hebrew alpha beta, the Greek form of the first two Hebrew letters alphabet. W is named double U, like W, like a U. But our use of it doesn't perfectly mesh with the Hebrew UAU, or UA. Since the Hebrew letter carries a sound of either O, like U, or O, as we see in the Hebrew word Yahuda. U, V, and W all stem from one letter, U. For yourselves, For you yourselves know very well that the day of Yahuwah comes as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then suddenly destruction comes upon them, as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. But you, brothers, are not in darkness, so that this day should overtake you as a thief. For you are all sons of light and sons of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. So then we should not sleep as others do, but we should watch and be sober. 1 Thessalonians 5:2-6. We who are watching and obeying the covenant will be used to awaken many around us to the truth in the end of days. The end will not come upon us as a trap, but it will catch everyone else by complete surprise, like a trap snapping closed. The sun will suddenly switch off. Do not then lose your boldness, which has great reward, for you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the desire of Elohim, you receive the promise. For yet a little while he who is coming shall come and shall not delay. But the righteous shall live by belief. But if anyone draws back my being has no pleasure in him. But we are not of those who draw back to destruction, but of belief to the preservation of life. Hebrews 10:35-39. Here we are encouraged to endure and do the desire of Elohim, and not draw back to destruction, but boldly uphold the belief to the preservation of life. Notice this is directly pertaining to our performance among men in the harvest field around us in the end of days, just prior to Yahusha's coming. Many shall be cleansed and made white and refined, but the wrong shall do wrong, and none of the wrong shall understand. But those who have insight shall understand. Daniel 12:10. We must remain focused on those who will listen, not wasting the time remaining. The chosen will listen and be cleansed of the paganism. As we purge out the mixed wine of Babylon, we become sober. Those who will listen and understand the traditions have absorbed the wormwood, or poisonous pagan lies mixed into the living water of Torah, will act on what they hear, and their behavior will change. Take note of Daniel 11:32. And by flattery's smooth words he shall profane, corrupt those who do wrong against the covenant. But the people who know their Elohim shall be strong and shall act. This is from the same text which describes the sovereign who has no regard for the mighty ones of his father, nor for the desire of women. His smooth words would be comfortable teachings which make those who listen to him believe they can do wrong against the covenant. So he is a teacher of morality, not merely a political sovereign. He teaches religion. The office of the Pope of Rome has altered the covenant in substantial ways and has profaned and corrupted those who follow the smooth words. This office of popeness employs a coat of arms, displaying two keys. The keys represent the Pope's sovereignty over two powers on earth: temporal, political authority, and spiritual authority. This is also why so many photos are seen with the Pope lifting up two fingers close together. This is an ancient hand sign of the Kaisers or Caesars, who ruled over their empire with both temporal and spiritual authority. It is now used in the secret handshake of the Illuminati. The book is coming apart on the bottom. Over the centuries, this office has ruled over sovereigns, and by being submissive to the Pope's office, these sovereigns, having one mind, and they shall give their power and authority to the beast. Revelation 17:13. The one mind means they are all Catholics in unity. Mother Church, or Mother Circe, is seated on the 7 hills or mountains of Rome. The woman which you saw is that great city having sovereignty over the sovereigns of the earth. This enables us to perceive that the whore of Babylon is none other than the existing Catholic system of idolatry in operation now, ruling roughly 1 billion souls on this planet. Whoring is mixing together pagan worship with true, clean worship, TORAH. All the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her whoring, and the sovereigns of the earth have committed whoring with her. Revelation 17 and 18 speaks on the fall of Babylon. Babel the Great, the mother of whores and of the abominations of the earth. Her golden cup, the source of her teachings, is filled with abominations, pagan patterns mixed with truth. This whore sits on many peoples, the waters. Come, I shall show you the judgment of the great whore, sitting on many waters, with whom the sovereigns of the earth committed whoring, idolatry, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her whoring. Revelation 17, 1 and 2. And I did a video series on Revelation. The last days are the end of days series. The crowds of people on the earth are described as waters in Revelation. Sea of humanity, like the waters of humanity. They were made drunk with the wine held in the cup of this woman, the wine being the abominable teachings which have spewed forth from the fertile young minds of the Catholics and Christians who followed patterns originating from this whore. The teachings and false signs and wonders are also referred to as drug sorcery. The 7 sacraments certainly represent some form of sorcery, signs and wonders, used to deceive those who trust in them. You can see how drunk the people are when you tell them about Sunday not being the true Shabbat day, not being the true Sabbath. The wine they have been made to drink is quite strong. They have been led to believe that the system from which these teachings come is foundational and trustworthy, endorsed by all established authorities on earth, from men in highly respected positions who are wealthy, powerful, and influential, or sovereigns. This is why when it all falls, the merchants of the earth will mourn and cry. Christmas and Easter will come to be exposed widely for what they really are. Pagan abominations. Abominations to Yahuwah. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by your drug sorcery all nations were led astray. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and set apart ones, and all who were slain on the earth. Revelation 18, 23 and 24. Scripture tells us that the sorcery used by this system has led all the nations astray. Religious traditions originating in paganism have become adopted into Christianity and are celebrated with great enthusiasm. It's now time for those who will submit to the truth to become purified and dressed in fine linen, which is the righteousness of the set-apart ones, Kodashim or saints. Blessed are those who have been called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, these are the true words of Elohim, Revelation 19:9. The witness of Yahusha is the spirit of prophecy, Revelation 19:10. Do we want to be taken or left behind? We want to be taken. Repent, for the reign of Yahuwah draws near. Seek Yahuwah, all you humble of the land, you who do what he commands. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be sheltered on the day of Yahuwah's anger, on Yahuwah's day of wrath, the day of Yahuwah. Zephaniah 2:3. The first taken will be the wicked. The reapers will come and just demolish the wicked. Slay to destruction old, young men, maidens, and children and women, but do not come near anyone upon whom is the mark of Yahuwah. Read chapter 9 of Ezekiel. The mark of Yahuwah here is his name in our foreheads. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Matthew 5:5. Consider the identification of the fourth beast provided at Revelation 13. Here is the wisdom. He who has understanding, let him calculate the number, the numeral of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. 6. And I believe I have to teach this along with it because this goes with it. Yes, the Roman numeral system. This is how you calculate the number. Notice the 6 letters of the original numbering system. The M for 1000 was added later. D is 500, plus C is 100, plus L is 50, plus X is 10, plus 5, which is V, plus 1, which is I. The numeral of a man. What man? The man of sin, the man who teaches sin. A man from the 4th beast, Rome. With this identification of the 4th beast, we can then look to what we find within this beast system, Rome, and see the woman sitting upon or controlling or restraining it. That would be the Jesuits, Societas Isu, the papal militia. The Jesuits control the world systems through banking and media propaganda. The Illuminati is synonymous with this organization and Satan, or Shaitan. The eye at the top of the pyramid is the entity within the society. Looking at the back of any US dollar bill, you will notice the all-seeing eye atop the pyramid, a symbol of the New World Order since it was adopted by Adam Weishaupt in 1776. It is the eye of Lucifer. According to the higher levels of Masonry, the seething energies that are shown emanating from it are what is described here by Manly P. Hall, a 33rd degree KT. So I'm going to read this along with it so that there's no confusion. I hope you guys stuck with me here so you guys can hear this. The Lost Keys of Freemasonry, or the Secret of HIRAM ABIFF. The day has come when fellow craftsmen must know and apply their knowledge. The lost key to their grade is the mastery of emotion, which places the energy of the universe at their disposal. Man can only expect to be entrusted with great power by proving his ability to use it constructively and selflessly. When the Mason learns that the key to the warrior on the block is the proper application of the dynamo of living power, he has learned the mystery of his craft. The seething energies of Lucifer are in his hands, and before he may step onward and upward, he must prove his ability to properly apply energy. He must follow in the footsteps of his forefather, Tubal Cain, who with the mighty strength of the war god hammered his sword into the plowshare. Through diverse compartmentalized organizations, men under Jesuit control serve their unknown master through the superior general or Black Pope. As of 2009, Adolfo Nicolas Pacon. This unknown master is Hashatan, or Satan, the Prince of Darkness ruling from within the secret society of the Illuminati, which consists of the highest levels, about 5% of Masonry. One could read several books on this subject, but the best summary Lou has ever seen is worth reprinting here. Posted June 24th, 2008 by Social Engineer. The next time I make a video, I am going to re-go over this part about the Roman numeral system, just in case somebody doesn't watch to the end and doesn't see this part about the Illuminati and the ruler of the Illuminati. The next lessons in my next video is going to start with that and go to the New World Order essay, author unknown. And then it will go on to the logo for the United Nations. Come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. And the bride was hidden as in a field long ago. The bride will be revealed on the day of redemption. Caught away Yahuwah says we will obey in the latter days while among the Gentiles. The bride represents the children of Yasharal. And then that's all I'll have time for the next video. But we are kind of plugging along here. We're almost, we're like more than halfway through the book right now. And I hope you guys have been enjoying these lessons and have been learning a lot. Every time I read one of these books, I learn so much more. When I was young, I was very into like researching about the Illuminati and about conspiracy theories, but I never ran into pure truth. I never ran into the truth of Yahuwah. I never ran into any of that until 5 years ago. But I love you all, brothers and sisters, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth. Shalom and blessings.